Welcome.
Hi.
I feel like that's a more appropriate way to start upon reflection. Because that's how Effie starts her whole speech.
Oh, fuck Effie.
To the 75th annual podcast episode.
Now what is this? This is the 11th Hunger Games episode, I believe?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's the 11th.
And what an episode it will be.
Yeah, a lot went down, man.
Yeah.
A lot went down. Who am I?
Oh, God. I realized we just started an episode.
Yes.
You are Gus, and...
What is this podcast
welcome.
about?
Oh, my God. I'm completely
You're
fucking
crushing
this up.
I'm so proud of you. Keep it
completely
up.
fucking this up. Hello, and welcome to Wheel Takes.
This is what happens when we fuck with the formula. Welcome. I like it.
I fucked up.
We just got to incorporate it.
Yeah. Welcome to Wheel Takes, a podcast that's usually about the Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and then eventually Brandon Sanderson. But now we are doing The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins.
Yes.
So fuck the Wheel of Time. I'm just kidding. I'm Allie, and I have read all of The Hunger Games.
I'm Gus, and I've read up to Catching Fire, chapter 20. And fun fact, my dad started reading these books recently because we were podcasting through them.
So cute.
And he's fucking done with them now.
Amazing.
And they're listening. And hi, Dad. So, that's
hi,
nice.
Dad-in-law. We love you. Okay. Amazing. Gus, where did we leave off?
That's a great question. We left off with her hanging a dummy of Seneca Crane, which was a bold choice.
A bold choice indeed.
We'll see if that pays off for her.
A place to leave off, if I may say so myself.
It was a choice that she made.
I think I've picked some pretty banger stopping points.
You have. Honestly, you could have stopped at almost any one of these chapters. It would have been a banger.
It was really hard to pick.
I know
it was really hard.
People wanted you to stop with Peeta getting his heart stopped. Very, in my opinion, false suspense there.
Well, they felt, and I understand this, that me stopping you at the fog was mean. Oh, this podcast episode, by the way, covers everything through the end of Catching Fire, chapter 20.
Yes.
I should say.
If you haven't
read that shit, go read it and then come back. But yeah, we're going to the end of 20.
Yes.
So yeah, people were saying that I was mean because that was such a suspenseful place to stop. You know what? Turnabout is fair play, considering the places that I have had to stop in the past.
It was suspenseful, but it was good suspenseful. I was like, ooh, this is great. I have a lot of fun stuff I get to talk about now.
Versus, I thought that you would figure out that Peeta was not going to be dead.
I was very, very certain that...
I considered stopping at Cinna's death.
Oh my God, that was devastating.
I had considered stopping there, but that felt like not enough chapters.
No, I don't think so. But fuck, that caught me off guard. I was reading this on the plane.
Jumped.
I jumped.
It was so funny because I was peeking over his shoulder because I kept wanting to see where he was. And I saw that Katniss and Cinna were saying goodbye. And so I was like, oh God, it's coming. And so I was just like reading along with him. And when he got to that part, he just went and jumped like a little bit in the air and then like held the book open wider.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so cute, and I loved it.
It's devastating.
Devastating. We're going to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
And more.
All of this shit was great. It did, like, fucking back half of this book, absolute banger. 10 out of 10.
Slaps in the face, and you're just getting started on the slappage. Chapter 17, Gus, do you have any notes for us?
I do.
Wow, I think we made it into the chapters in pretty much record time.
Huh.
Did we?
Maybe.
I feel like.
What did you paint, Peeta? A picture of Katniss? Effie's one brain cell is working on maximum overdrive here.
Maybe we should just think of her as like an orange cat.
She is an orange cat. That's an injustice to orange cats. Katniss rightly realizing that a martyr never dies.
I'm just realizing we adopted an orange dog.
We did.
He's smart, though.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Katniss is like, well, I think my job now is to go out in as badass a way as possible so that I can be a martyr. And I'm like, yes, Snow, you fucking moron.
Really, really dumb.
This chuckle fuck has her in a wedding dress.
Cinna? Why is Cinna a chuckle fuck?
Snow insisted that she wear the wedding dress.
Yeah, he's a chuckle fuck.
Then I wrote, oh, fuck. What did Cinna do to the dress? And then I wrote, oh, hell yes, Cinna. R.I.P. though.
Yeah.
Like, that was gonna do it, bud.
He knew.
He knew
what he was doing.
Yeah.
So, last we left off, Katniss hung Seneca Crane.
Sure did. And Plutarch Havensby didn't seem happy, but I think it's, I think
and of course, Peeta famously shit on the floor.
Peeta took I wish he had. No, he painted. How you gonna paint Rue? That's an elaborate thing to paint on the floor in 15 minutes.
He is very talented.
He is, he decorates the shit out of those
speed
cakes.
Painters on TikTok?
No.
You never seen a speed painter? I've seen some speed painters. The effect on the game makers is immediate and satisfying. Several let out small shrieks. Others lose their grips on their wine glasses, which shatter musically against the ground. By the way, have you seen Bob the Drag Queen's TikTok video where she bought these wine glasses that were like shatterproof because she was like, I don't even really drink wine. Yes. I just want to see it.
And she shatters one in a second.
And she drops it literally like a foot off the ground, not even. And it shatters immediately. And she just stands there and like looks at the camera like, oh, fuck. And then did you see the response of the wine glass company?
No.
They're like, we said it's shatterproof, not invincible.
They dropped it
like an inch off the ground. It was wild. Now, not this fucking wine glass company try to gaslight Bob the drag queen. So the feud between this wine glass company and Bob the drag queen has really been riveting to me on TikTok.
Trash.
Anyway. So Plutarch Havensby, which is a ridiculous name, is staring at her and then says, you may go now, Miss Everdeen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and she can't resist tossing the container of berry juice, which, by the way, is blood red, over her shoulder. I can hear the contents splatter against the dummy while a couple more wine glasses break. So it looks like blood just like exploded all over this dummy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
But also dumb. But also
they're going to give you a 12. You and Peeta floor shitter over there. Wasn't there a guy on The Bachelor who shit on the floor?
Oh, yeah, Lincoln.
There's like a guy.
Wasn't his name Lincoln?
Yeah, I just remember everyone called him Lincoln floor shitter because he wouldn't poop
I'm not sure if this is actually true.
I don't think
But there was a Redditor who said that they knew him from their office and that famously they all figured out that for some reason someone had been shitting on the floor and through a process of elimination they figured out it was him.
No, they said he was like afraid of the germs so he would make like a nest of toilet paper and then poop in it and then drop it in the toilet. I doubt this is true.
Uh-huh.
But that's what Peeta did. I know it's not.
Peeta floor shitter over here.
We should stop talking about poop.
No, we will never stop talking about poop. This is now a poop podcast. Poop takes.
No.
Poop takes.
Oh, boy.
Poop takes. Okay. I decided to go take a shower myself since my hands are stained from the juice.
Yeah,
and Peeta's are stained from his poop.
Yeah. I just love they get back and they're like, all right, how'd it go? And he goes, well, I painted insurrectionary imagery and they went, bad idea. Terrible.
So,
should not have done it.
She says the question that should now always be my guide is, will this help Peeta stay alive?
No.
Indirectly, this might not. So she kind of regrets it.
Well, that's par for the course for Katniss. Her frontal lobe's not done developing. It's going to happen.
Yeah, what happens in training is highly secretive, so there's no point in taking action against me when no one will know what my transgression was. In fact, last year I was rewarded for my brashness. This is a different sort of crime, though. If the game makers are angry with me and decide to punish me in the arena, Peeta could get caught up in the attack as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it was too impulsive. Still, I can't say I'm sorry I did it. I'm not sorry you did it either, but it was kind of dumb.
Bad idea, but it was cool.
So Haymitch asks how the private sessions went, and both of them don't want to go talk about it. And she says to Peeta, you first. It must have been something really special. I had to wait for 40 minutes to go in. Well, I did the camouflage thing, like you suggested, Katniss. Not exactly camouflage. I mean, I used the dyes. To do what? So I think of how ruffled the game makers were when I entered the gym for my session. The smell of cleaners, the mat pulled over that spot in the center of the gym. Was it to conceal something they were unable to wash away? You painted something, didn't you? A picture. of a sort. No. Did you see it? No, but they'd made a real point of covering it up. Well, that would be the standard. They can't let one tribute know what another did. What did you paint, Peeta? She looks a little misty. Was it a picture of Katniss?
Just like, there is a goldfish on a hamster wheel in her head. It's like someone thought that this would work.
Why would he paint a picture of me, Effie?
I love Effie.
To show he's going to do everything he can to defend you. That's what everyone in the Capitol's expecting anyway. Didn't he volunteer to go in with you?
Oh, actually, Effie, you're so stupid.
I painted a picture of Rue. How she looked after Katniss had covered her in flowers.
Now, much like your thing about making up in your head that Feyre in A Court of Thorns and Roses cannot paint for shit, I know Peeta can, but I'm just picturing, like, a stick figure with some, like, SpongeBob sky flowers around it. And they're like, what is that? And he goes, it's Rue in flowers. And they were like, what the fuck?
Look at the flowers, Rue.
Oh, God.
That is a Walking Dead reference.
It is. And then they're like, you shouldn't have done that, bro.
So Haymitch is like, and what exactly were you trying to accomplish? He's just like, these fucking kids, I'm going to kill them before they even get in the arena.
To get them to stay alive and kill my friends in the process.
I just wanted to hold them accountable, if only for a moment, for killing that little girl.
Well, you did.
This is dreadful. That sort of thinking, it's forbidden, Peeta.
You're doing, nobody can see this, but you're like play acting as
it's so fun to play
as Effie, and it's very funny.
Absolutely. You're going to bring down more trouble on yourself and Katniss. I have to agree with Effie on this one. I guess this is a bad time to mention. This is the funniest fucking scene. What?
Cut.
I guess this is a bad time to mention. I hung a dummy and painted Seneca Crane's name on it. Is that crickets? No one liked that.
I don't think they worked.
Oh, no. I meant no one liked that Katniss hung the thing.
Yeah.
You hung Seneca Crane? That's what Cinna said. Yes, I was showing off my new knot tying skills, and he somehow ended up at the end of the noose.
Oh my God, I love her.
Oh, Katniss! Sappy. How do you even know about that? Is it a secret? President Snow didn't act like it was. In fact, he seemed eager for me to know. Now I've upset Effie. I should have lied and said I shot some arrows.
Yeah, well.
And Peeta says, and Haymitch, we decided we don't want any other allies in the arena. Good.
He goes, fuck that, I'm gonna set you up myself. Or maybe Finnick's lying, but I don't think he is.
Good. Then I won't be responsible for you killing off any of my friends with your stupidity. I'm realizing Haymitch has my stepdad's voice a little bit.
Yep, a little bit.
Anyway.
That's funny.
That's just what we were thinking, is what she says. All right, now they're going to go see the training scores.
12. AKA, kill them first.
So, predictably high scores for Cashmere, Gloss, Brutus, Anabaria, and Finnick. Low to medium for the rest. Have they ever given a 0, I ask? No, but there's a first time for everything.
Yes, there is, Mr. and Mrs. 12.
And it turns out he's right, because when Peeta and I each pull a 12, we make Hunger Games history.
Yeah, it's bad.
No one feels like celebrating, though.
No.
Why would they do that? So that the others have no choice but to target you. Go to bed. I can't stand to look at either one of you. Aw, we made Dad mad. So then Katniss and Peeta kind of apologize to each other for making their lives worse, mutually.
Yeah, well, you know, good idea, worked, it's fine.
And she says, if you're perfectly honest about it, you think President Snow has probably given them direct orders to make sure we die in the arena anyway.
Yes.
And he said, it's crossed my mind.
It's definitely happening. And they're like, all right, she goes, all right, I got to figure out how to martyr myself as best I can, because I, unlike President Snow, understand that I am at least as dangerous dead as I am alive. Or maybe he just doesn't care and he thinks he can get away with it.
Yeah, she says, but while I know I'll never leave that arena alive, I'm still holding on to the hope that Peeta will.
Yeah.
After all, he didn't pull out those berries. I did. No one has ever doubted that Peeta's defiance was motivated by love. So maybe President Snow will prefer keeping him alive, crushed and heartbroken, as a living warning to the others?
Well, another way you could have made him or her crushed and heartbroken is reaping their families.
Gus prefers that route.
I think it might have been more effective.
Yeah, probably.
I'm glad he didn't. This makes a lot more sense for a vengeful dictator.
But I don't think Peeta's going to get saved after his little stunt.
No.
I think they're going to make them both die.
No.
So both of them did not have nightmares that night.
They didn't have nightmares because they did a fighting back, and then they get the day off because Effie and Haymitch claim that it's because they think they're good enough on camera, but I think they're both just sick of them.
I mean, they seem to be actively trying to get themselves killed at this point. I would be pretty mad at them.
And then
I think they're both just mad.
Have a lovely moment, like one of the few lovely moments that they get to have. And he braids flowers into her hair.
They have a picnic.
And this is so sweet. He says, I wish I could freeze this moment right here, right now, and live in it forever. And she's like, well, usually I would shut that shit down because it sounds a little bit too romantic. But you know what? Nah, it's fine. Let's she say, yeah, okay?
She says, okay. And he says, then you'll allow it? I'll allow it. And then they kind of like nap together and they have like a nice time. And then he wakes her up for the sunset, which is his favorite color. Orange like the sunset.
Hey-oh. Good callback. Very
sorry,
sad.
I pumped you.
That's okay. Oh, God. And then the superficial triplets come in and they're like devastated.
But first she says, because I can count on my fingers the number of sunsets
This shit is
I have
so
left.
sad. This shit is so fucking sad,
and I
man.
don't want to miss any of them.
And then the superficiality triplets come in and are even sadder. And, like, they keep crying, trying to do her makeup. And then Venia finishes it. And what does she say? We would all like you to know what a privilege it has been to make you look your best. And then she leaves like, oh my God, everybody hates this. Snow, you fucked up.
Yeah. Venia and Flavius can't even stay. They're
Octavia and Flavius.
No, Octavia is the... Oh, yeah. Octavia and Flavius can't handle it. They, like, leave sobbing. And it's certain from Venia's last words that we all know I won't be returning.
Well, there's a third book.
And she asks, so what am I wearing tonight? President Snow put in the dress order himself. And it's her fucking wedding dress.
But cooler. He's so sneaky. He goes, hey, it's heavy, so don't raise your arms until it's time to twirl. But you should at some point.
Yeah. He says, the president says you are to wear it tonight. Our objections were ignored. Well, it'd be a shame to waste such a pretty dress. Yeah, and it's super heavy. And he's like, yeah, don't raise your arms. Yet. All right, so then... Oh, and Pete is in an elegant tuxedo and white gloves. Oh.
Devastating.
So he's dressed like a groom.
Yes, this is horrible.
She thinks about how back home, like in the capital, that's what they would wear. But back home, it's a lot simpler. A woman usually rents a white dress that's been worn hundreds of times. The man wears something clean that's not mining clothes. They fill out some forms at the Justice Building and are assigned a house. Family and friends gather for a meal or a bit of cake if it can be afforded. Even if it can't, there's always a traditional song we sing as the new couple crosses the threshold of their home. And we have our own little ceremony where they make their first fire, toast a bit of bread, and share it.
Bread.
Maybe it's old-fashioned, but no one really feels married in District 12 until after the toasting. They literally have toast. A toast. This is very Rocky Horror of them.
I don't like Rocky Horror, you know.
Oh my God. We have this discussion sometimes. Oh, all the tributes are like glaring at her wedding dress. And the Finnick says, I can't believe Cinna put you in that thing. He didn't have any choice. President Snow made him. And then Kashmir says, well, you look ridiculous.
Thanks, bud. Thanks, champ. Your name is Kashmir.
And then Joanna Mason says, make him pay for it, okay?
See, they're all in this together for now until tomorrow when they start killing each other. But, you know, again, I get it.
Yeah, so this is the first time I realized the depth of betrayal felt among the victors and the rage that accompanies it.
Yes,
but they're so smart. So wonderfully smart about how they play it, because it all comes back to reflect on the government and President Snow in particular. Not everyone. There are old throwbacks like Brutus and Anabaria who are just here for another games. And those two baffled or drugged or lost to join in on the attack.
Are you telling me that Shark Tooth Girl is not a revolutionary? I'm shocked, actually.
But there are enough victors who still have the wits and the nerve to come out fighting. Kashmir starts the ball rolling with a speech about how she just can't stop crying when she thinks of how much the people in the capital must be suffering because they will lose us. Gloss recalls the kindness shown here to him and his sister. BT questions the legality of the quell in his nervous, twitchy way, wondering if it's been fully examined by experts of late. Finnick recites a poem he wrote to his one true love in the capital.
I just love the idea that these people actually think that law matters in this fucking...
I don't think BT thinks that.
I know, but the capital citizens might earnestly believe that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why he does it.
Yeah.
But Finnick recites that poem, right? And about 100 people faint because they're sure he means them.
They're sure it's about them.
By the time Joanna Mason gets up, she's acting as if something can't be done about the situation. She's asking if something can't be done about the situation. Surely the creators of the Quarter Quell never anticipated such love forming between the victors and the capital. No one could be so cruel as to sever such a deep bond. Cedar quietly ruminates about how back in District 11, everyone assumes President Snow is all-powerful. So if he's all-powerful, why doesn't he change the quell?
See, it's very good. They're very smart. And then
Chaff, who comes right on her heels, insists the president could change the quell if he wanted to, but he must not think it matters much to anyone. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I got ahead of myself. I was going to say, and then Katniss, I had thought Katniss spiked the ball, but actually she just sets up the ball.
Uh-huh.
And then Peeta, holy fucking shit, dude. It's next chapter, so I can't talk about it yet, but what a fucking...
What a play.
What a fucking gangster this guy is.
It's like, you know, those TikToks where like the sunglasses float on and it's like la da 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 da. Like that's how it is with Peeta.
Yeah. Absolute legend.
So by the time I'm introduced, the audience is an absolute wreck.
Stanley Tucci up there.
Yeah. People have been weeping and collapsing.
He's a collaborator.
And even calling for change. The sight of me in my white silk bridal gown practically causes a riot. No more me. No more star-crossed lovers living happily ever after. No more wedding. I can see even Caesar's professionalism showing some cracks as he tries to quiet them so I can speak. But my 3 minutes are ticking quickly away. Finally, there's a lull and he gets out, "So, Katniss, obviously this is a very emotional night for everyone. Is there anything you'd like to say? Only that I'm so sorry you won't get to be at my wedding.
It's good.
But I'm glad you at least get to see me in my dress. Isn't it just the most beautiful thing?" I don't have to look at Cinna for a signal. I know this is the right time. I begin to twirl slowly, raising the sleeves of my heavy gown above my head. When I hear the screams of the crowd, I think it's because I must look stunning. Then I notice something is rising around me. Smoke from fire. Not the flickery stuff I wore last year in the chariot, but something much more real that devours my dress. I begin to panic as the smoke thickens. Charred bits of black silk swirl into the air, and pearls clatter to the stage. Somehow I'm afraid to stop because my flesh doesn't seem to be burning, and I know Cinna must be behind whatever is happening. So I keep spinning and spinning. For a split second I'm gasping, completely engulfed in the strange flames. Then all at once the fire is gone. I slowly come to a stop, wondering if I'm naked, and why Cinna has arranged to burn away my wedding dress. But I'm not naked. I'm in a dress of the exact design of my wedding dress, only it's the color of coal and made of tiny feathers.
I bet this scene is fucking awesome.
Wonderingly, I lift my long, flowing sleeves into the air, and that's when I see myself on the television screen, clothed in black except for the white patches on my sleeves, or should I say wings, because Cinna has turned me into a mockingjay.
Oh, what a way to go out, Cinna.
And that is the end of Chapter 17. Chapter 18, Gus.
Yes.
So she's still smoldering.
I do have notes. What is the sweet soft?
And fucking Caesar says, "Feathers."
Well,
You're like
whoa,
the bird.
whoa,
oh my God,
whoa, whoa,
sorry.
whoa.
I forgot you had notes.
I said it.
Petey looked up in confusion.
What is the sweet, soft bread boy up to? Oh my God, the sweet, soft bread boy with the emotional steel chair. And I wrote, yeah, well, I was right, but I'd much rather not have been right, you know?
Mm-hmm.
About Cinna, that was sudden.
Yeah.
Aquafina, more like Aqua Arena.
For real.
Holy shit.
All right. So Caesar touches her dress and is like, feathers, you're like a bird.
I like
you fucking dumbass. It's a mockingjay, I think. It's the bird on the pin I wear as a token.
And Caesar goes, no, God, please, no.
He's like, oh, fuck.
It's like, I'm not part of this. I'm not part. There he is. Look, everyone look at Cinna.
Yeah, he's like, Cinna, I think you better take a bow.
The last bow. Bud.
Yeah, and she says, and suddenly I'm so afraid for him.
Well,
what
yeah,
has he done?
He knew. Come on.
Yeah, he knew. Something
Sin
terribly dangerous.
Sin of the poet. I said sin of the poet.
An act of rebellion in itself.
Slightly wrong.
And he's done it for me. I remember his words. Don't worry. I always channel my emotions into my work. That way I don't hurt anyone but myself.
Yeah, he knew.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What?
It's funny.
And I'm afraid he has hurt himself beyond repair. He has. Yeah. The significance of my fiery transformation will not be lost on President Snow.
No. This is badass, but also he's gonna die.
But the audience breaks into wild applause.
Yeah, fuck him. Whatever. Not really, but you know.
And then Peeta goes out.
And Peeta, once again, out of fucking nowhere, just spikes the ball into everybody's fucking hearts. This is genius. I did not see this coming. Because he's like, he's so good at this. He has no right to be this nice and smart and good at stuff.
Yeah. He's so good at everything. I fucking love Peeta. Oh, Peeta. But, so Caesar goes, so, Peeta.
If she turns it around on me again, he sucks at the end, I'm going to be so pissed.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
The fuck was that? What was that? What was that sigh about?
I can't
What the fuck was that?
Rafa. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I'm just fucking with you.
I hate this.
Maybe he's a soft bread boy till the end.
God damn it. Go
or
ahead.
Maybe he becomes a killer and he chokes Katniss out. He's murdering her. He murders her.
I don't think he
chokes
does.
her.
All right, let's keep going.
And not in a sexy way. Hi, father-in-law. Anyway. So, Peeta, what's it like when, after all you've been through, you found out about the quell? I was in shock. I mean, one minute I'm seeing Katniss looking so beautiful in all these wedding gowns, and the next, you realize there was never going to be a wedding? Fucking Caesar, go to hell. Anyway, so then he says to Caesar, do you think all our friends here can keep a secret? So then there's like an uncomfortable laugh.
He's like, well, we
says,
just had insurgency on stage.
I feel quite certain of it. We're already married. And they're all astonished. But how can that be? Oh, it's not an official marriage. We didn't go to the Justice Building or anything. But we have this marriage ritual in District 12. I don't know what it's like in the other districts, but there's this thing we do. And then he describes the toasting.
He reiterates the thing from... She's doing this shit lately where she mentions a thing and then makes it relevant in the next chapter.
Yeah. She's so good at it.
Yeah. It is a little brief, but okay.
Whatever. Were your families there? No, we didn't tell anyone. Not even Haymitch. And Katniss's mother would never have approved. But you see, we knew if we were married in the capital, there wouldn't be a toasting. And neither of us really wanted to wait any longer. So one day we just did it. And to us, we're more married than any piece of paper or big party could make us. So this was before the quell? Of course before the quell. I'm sure we'd never have done it after we knew. But who could have seen this coming? No one. We went through the games. We were victors. Everyone seemed so thrilled to see us together. Then out of nowhere, I mean, how could we anticipate a thing like that? You couldn't, Peeta.
Shut the fuck up, Stanley Tucci.
As you say, no one could have. But I have to confess, I'm glad you two had at least a few months of happiness together. Yeah. And there's enormous applause. And he says, I'm not glad. I wish you had waited until the whole thing was done officially. Surely even a brief time together is better than no time. Maybe I'd think that too, Caesar, if it weren't for the baby.
Oh! And I know Gail didn't get to see this because they cut the feeds, but I just picture Gail at home being like, well, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody.
I'm Gail.
My life is so hard. Fuck that guy, man. But also, I get it. But fuck that guy, man.
Hey, you don't like Gail?
Fuck that guy. I'm team fuck that guy, remember?
You're team fuck Gail.
All right. So here's the thing about this. It's incredible. And it's amazing. And it's just a spear to the heart. And it's great.
It's so fucking
And he couldn't have warned her about it.
Because they have no problem watching kids fight to the death.
It's so
But a pregnant woman with a fake baby, all of a sudden they're gasping, weeping, falling all over themselves. They didn't
care about a mother dying. They don't care about Cecilia.
No, they don't give a fuck about Cecilia.
But no, a pregnant star.
A pregnant woman. Oh no. It's so true. And then the minute that baby would be out of her, they don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
So, there, he's done it again. Dropped a bomb that wipes out the efforts of every tribute who came before him. Well, maybe not. Maybe this year he has only lit the fuse on a bomb that the victors themselves have been building, hoping someone would be able to detonate it. Perhaps thinking it would be me in my bridal gown, not knowing how much I rely on Cinna's talents, whereas Peeta needs nothing more than his wits. As the bomb explodes, it sends accusations of injustice and barbarism and cruelty for the first time ever.
Oh my
flying
God,
out in every direction.
We can't let these people die. We've only killed hundreds of children.
Yeah, exactly. Even the most capital-loving, games-hungry, bloodthirsty person out there can't ignore, at least for a moment, how horrific the whole thing is. I am pregnant. The audience can't absorb the news right away. It has to strike them and sink in and be confirmed by other voices before they begin to sound like a herd of wounded animals, moaning, shrieking, calling for help.
1,701, by the way, is how many tributes would have died to this point.
Jesus. And me, I know my face is projected in a tight close-up on the screen, but I don't make any effort to hide it, because for a moment, even I am working through what Peeta has said. Isn't it the thing I dreaded most about the wedding, about the future, the loss of my children to the games? And it could be true now, couldn't it? If I hadn't spent my life building up layers of defenses until I recoil at even the suggestion of marriage and a family. Caesar can't rein in the crowd again, not even when the buzzer sounds. Peeta nods his goodbye and comes back to his seat without any more conversation. Everything is chaos. And so only the blast of the anthem, cranked up so loud I can feel it vibrating through my bones, lets us know where we stand in the program. I automatically rise, and as I do, I sense Peeta reaching out for me. Tears run down his face as I take his hand. How real are the tears? Is this an acknowledgement that he's been stalked by the same fears that I have, that every victor has, every parent in every district in Panem? I look back to the crowd, but the faces of Rue's mother and father swim before my eyes. Their sorrow, their loss. I turn spontaneously to Chaff and offer my hand. I feel my fingers close around the stump that now completes his arm and hold fast. And then it happens. Up and down the road, the victors begin to join hands. Some right away, like the Morphlings or Wirus or BT. Others unsure but caught up in the demands of those around him like Brutus and Anabaria. By the time the anthem plays its final strains, all 24 of us stand in one unbroken line in what must be the first public show of unity among the districts since the dark days. You can see the realization of this as the screens begin to pop into blackness. It's too late, though. In the confusion, they didn't cut us off in time. Everyone has seen.
Y'all fucked up.
And then they, go to blackout, basically, on the screen. And the peacekeepers, make them all go with their separate ways. And Peeta says, there isn't much time. So tell me, is there anything I have to apologize for? Nothing.
Look at him checking in with her. Look at her not punching him in the face this time.
I know, growth. Somewhere very far off is a place called District 12, where my mother and sister and friends will have to deal with the fallout from this night. Just a brief hovercraft ride away is an arena where tomorrow, Peeta and I and the other tributes will face our own form of punishment. But even if all of us meet terrible ends, something happened on that stage night that can't be undone. We victors staged our own uprising.
It was great, man. You crushed it. Crushed the fucking game. Well done.
And maybe, just maybe, the capital won't be able to contain this one.
Well done. Now, unfortunately, you got to go kill each other.
Yeah. And basically everyone, there's like a curfew now in the capital. They all been sent home.
I bet there is.
And they canceled the recap of the interviews on TV.
I bet they did.
And Peeta wants to know if they asked the president to stop the games. And Haymitch says, I don't think they know themselves what to ask. The whole situation is unprecedented. Even the idea of opposing the capital's agenda is a source of confusion for the people here. There's no way Snow would cancel the games. You know that, right?
Yeah, they're a little fucked, but, I don't know. Oh, and they don't even get to see Effie.
No.
And they're like, well...
Everyone was ordered to go home.
Yeah, I bet.
And so they realize they'll never see Effie again.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, well.
And Peeta says...
I do love Effie as a character, but I also fucking hate her.
So Peeta asks Haymitch to give Effie their thanks. And Katniss says, more than that, really make it special. It's Effie, after all. Tell her how appreciative we are and how she was the best escort ever. And tell her we send our love. And Haymitch says, I guess this is where we say our goodbyes as well. Any last words of advice? Stay alive. Go to bed. You need your rest. Yeah.
This is a good parting line from him to Katniss. He goes, Katniss, when you're in the arena. She goes, what? He goes, you just remember who the enemy is. That's all. Now, go on. Get out of here.
Your Haymitch is so good. Fuck. Okay.
So's yours.
So then she and Peeta sleep in the same bed.
I couldn't keep that up for long. That's pure vocal fry. That would fuck up my throat. I can only do it because it's a short line.
I've been doing it.
No, but you're still vocalizing.
Yeah.
If I do that, it's just vocal fry. I can't hold that long.
It's a lot of vocal fry. And they're all like kind of sad that they didn't say goodbye to all the people, but she does see Cinna, who is going to help her dress for the games.
Well, about that.
The doctor injects a tracker into her left forearm.
Yeah, maybe we should not let Cinna in the alone room with her.
I know. The hovercraft takes off, and I look out the windows until they black out. Cinna keeps pressing me to eat, and when that fails, to drink. I manage to keep sipping water, thinking of the days of dehydration that almost killed me last year, thinking of how I will need my strength to keep Peeta alive. When we reach the launch room at the arena, I shower. Cinna braids my hair down my back and helps me dress over simple undergarments. This year's tribute outfit is a fitted blue jumpsuit made of very sheer material that zippers up the front. A 6-inch wide padded belt covered in shiny purple plastic, a pair of nylon shoes with rubber soles. So they kind of look like Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's a big ass belt, man.
Mm-hmm.
6 inches?
No.
That's huge. Of course, it's an inflation device, so.
Yeah. So then Cinna's like, it will offer little in the way of protection from cold or water.
Well, that's where you're wrong, poet boy.
And then she says, sun? Possibly, if it's been treated. And then he gives her the gold Mockingjay pin. And she says, my dress was fantastic last night. I thought you might like it. Remember, girl on fire, I'm still betting on you.
Oh,
he kisses my forehead and steps back as the glass cylinder slides down around me. Thank you, I say, although he probably can't hear me. I lift my chin, holding my head high the way he always tells me to, and wait for the plate to rise. But it doesn't. And it still doesn't.
It's bad.
I look at Cinna, raising my eyebrows for an explanation. He just gives his head a slight shake, as perplexed as I am. Why are they delaying this? Suddenly, the door behind him bursts open, and 3 peacekeepers spring into the room. 2 pin Cinna's arms behind him and cuff him, while the 3rd hits him in the temple with such force he's knocked to his knees. But they keep hitting him with metal-studded gloves, opening gashes on his face and body. I'm screaming my head off, banging on the unyielding glass, trying to reach him. The peacekeepers ignore me completely as they drag Cinna's limp body from the room.
Cinna the poet.
All that's left are the smears of blood on the floor. I was so fucking hoping that you wouldn't remember Cinna the goddamn poet.
How could I forget Cinna the poet? He's my favorite. The dog is snoring his ass off,
I know,
by the
but
way.
It's so cute. Who cares?
Cinna the poet is my favorite random side character in almost any Shakespeare play, except for 4 different people in The Winter's Tale. And also, of course, the porter in the Scottish play. And
the witches are always my favorite.
The witches are good. And then there's one scene from that where Hestia, I forget which.
Hecate?
Hecate shows up in like one cutscene from the Scottish play that nobody ever does because
No
it's
one
weird
ever
and out
fucking
of place. But like, yeah, Sin of the Poet, one of my favorite one-off characters.
Because it's so dumb and sad. It's senseless.
Oh, it's a great scene. No, I mean,
in a good way.
Such a wonderful
in a good
scene,
way,
yeah.
it's senseless. They're just at that point such a mob that they're like killing with impunity.
But I've said this on the podcast before, but my favorite one of my other favorite random one-off characters in Shakespeare is in A Winter's Tale, shortly after Exit Pursued by a Bear, the famous stage direction, where a man exits the stage pursued by a bear. These other two guys come on. This one guy comes in from stage left. The other guy comes in from where the bear went off, and he's like, damn, check out this baby I found. He's like, where'd you get that baby? He's like, see that dude over there getting absolutely fucking wrecked by a bear? Holy shit, that guy's getting annihilated by a bear. That bear is going to town on that guy. It ripped, like, I remember there's a line, it's something like, observe how it tears the shoulder bone. It's ridiculous. They just stand there and they're like, that man is being mauled alive. And they turn left and they're like, damn, look at that boat. That boat's getting fucked by a storm. Holy shit. That
it's one of
sucks.
those things, it's like, don't help, take a video instead.
Well, what are they going to do? It's a bear in a storm.
But there's like several of them. They couldn't
It's two
take
dudes.
on a bear.
It's a shepherd and another shepherd.
Get their sticks and start hitting the bear.
And then
what kind of bear?
they-
So this is the question: what kind of bear? Because if it's a black bear,
Well, I'm guessing it was a grizzly bear.
well, then you're fucked.
Yeah. And then they leave with the baby, and then Time comes on stage and is like, "What up? I'm Time. 20 years passed." But he does this in the course of a page-long monologue. It's good, but Winter's Tale is a weird play,
It's a weird fucking play.
Back to Sin of the Poet. Very sad, and I've been distracting myself from Sin's death. Very sad. Very
all that's
well done.
left are the smears of blood on the floor.
Very sad.
Sickened and terrified, I feel the plate begin to rise. So they really did that just to fuck with her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still leaning against the glass when the breeze catches my hair and I force myself to straighten up. Just in time, too, because the glass is retreating and I'm standing free in the arena. Something seems to be wrong with my vision. The ground is too bright and shiny and keeps undulating. I squint down at my feet and I see that my metal plate is surrounded by blue waves that lap up over my boots. Slowly, I raise my eyes and take in the water spreading out in every direction. I can only form one clear thought. This is no place for a girl on fire. Suze.
Ugh.
Jesus.
Back at it again.
And that is the end of chapter 18 and also the end of part 2.
Oh my god, here we go. Part 3, The Enemy. A good title.
Yeah, and a good callback to
Was it
what
the
Hamish
spark,
said.
the quell, the enemy?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right. Chapter 19. I do have notes.
Great.
All right. Fuck off, catechism tourniquet.
Oh, is that what you're calling the announcer?
Yes. Kill Finnick. Do it for the girlies. No, don't trust Finnick. Kill him instead. Victors can have a little murder as a treat. Well, this is inconvenient and also a little bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what I got.
Chapter 19, guys.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, let the 75th Hunger Games begin.
Nobody likes you.
So that's Claudius Templesmith. I have less than a minute to get my bearings. Then the gong will sound and the tributes will be free to move off their metal plates. But move where?
You can't put landmines in the water. You can put mines in the water.
I bet they will figure out a way to explode you. I can't think straight. The image of Cinna, beaten and bloody, consumes me. Where is he now? What are they doing to him? Killing him. Torturing him? Killing him? It's that one. Turning him into an Avox? No, you were right the second time.
No, he's gonna die.
Obviously, his assault was staged to unhinge me, the same way Darius's presence in my quarters was, and it has unhinged me. All I want to do is collapse on my metal plate, but I can hardly do that after what I just witnessed. I must be strong. I owe it to Cinna, who risked everything by undermining President Snow and turning my bridal silk into mockingjay plumage. And I owe it to the rebels who, emboldened by Cinna's example, might be fighting to bring down the capital at this very moment.
Yeah, well.
My refusal to play the games on the capital's terms is to be my last act of rebellion, so I grit my teeth and will myself to be a player. Where are you? I can still make no sense of my surroundings. Where are you? I demand an answer from myself, and slowly the world comes into focus.
So we've got the cornucopia, I'm sorry. We've got the cornucopia, it feels so weird, in the middle, and then, like, thin spokes of land.
Yes.
Radiating outward. And it's salt water, so they can't drink it.
Uh-huh.
So
it's like spokes that are all, like, shooting out from the cornucopia.
Yeah, and there's 12 of them.
Everything else is water.
And there's 2 people to a wedge. And, this sucks, man.
So I think what they're trying to do for those who can't swim is force them to fight with the other person, because it's 2 to 1 spoke.
Yeah, but they're far away from each other.
Oh, so they have to swim.
Yeah, you have to swim.
That sucks.
But the belts are inflation devices.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But it's still, they're trying to make them swim to the same spoke so that they have to fight on the
they have to fight on the spoke, yeah.
So there are 12 spokes, each with 2 tributes balanced on metal plates between them. The other tribute in my watery wedge is Old Wolf from District 8. That's kind of lucky.
But he's not going to go her direction. If they're in a wedge together, they're not going to share a spoke.
Why not?
Because they're going to be swimming towards the nearer spoke, and each of them is going to be closer to the other spoke.
Oh, okay.
Does this make sense?
Yeah.
Picture Trivial Pursuit, you know? The six little things.
Because I'm like, why would they put the old guy on the spoke that, like, they would want to put somebody who's going to fucking murder her.
Yeah.
Like Brutus.
Yeah.
Like, that's who I would put on the same spoke as her. So he's about as far to my right as the land stripped on my left. Beyond the water, wherever you look, a narrow beach and then dense greenery. I scan the circle of tributes looking for Peeta, but he must be blocked from my view by the cornucopia. Yeah, they put him as far away from you as possible.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, and so she realizes it's salt water. There's no boats, no ropes, so they do have to swim. When the gong sounds, I don't even hesitate before I dive to my left. It's a longer distance than I'm used to, and navigating the waves takes a little more skill than swimming across my quiet lake at home. But my body seems oddly light, and I cut through the water effortlessly.
Yeah, your belt.
Yeah, it's salt. Oh, that too.
Salt is not going to be meaningful enough.
But it does help you float.
It helps a little bit, but unless you're in the Dead Sea, it's not going to be much.
Last year, the supplies were spread out quite a distance around the cornucopia, but the most valuable closest to the horn. But this year, the booty seems to be piled at the 20-foot-high mouth. They want them to fight. My eyes instantly home in on a golden bow just in arm's reach and yank it free. There's someone behind me. I'm alerted by, I don't know, a soft shift of sand or maybe just a change in the air current.
Kill him.
I pull an arrow from the sheath that's still wedged in the pile and arm my bow as I turn. Finnick, glistening and gorgeous, stands a few yards away.
Just shoot him. Just
with
shoot
a trident poised to attack. A net dangles from his other hand.
I know he's a victim too. I know.
He's smiling a little, but the muscles in his upper body are rigid in anticipation. You can swim too. Where did you learn that in District 12? We have a big bathtub.
She's funny as fuck, man.
You must. You like the arena? Not particularly, but you should. They must have built it especially for you.
And he goes, good thing we're on a team together, right? Check out this bracelet your dude gave me.
Yeah, he says, lucky we're allies, right? So then he shifts his hand and something on his wrist catches the sunlight.
Hamish gave him the bracelet.
A soft gold bangle patterned with flames. The same one I remember on Hamish's wrist the morning I began trading.
It is likely that Hamish actually did this and that it's not a ruse. Because Suze doesn't usually try to fool me with shit.
Yeah, it's a signal to trust Finnick.
Yeah. Oh, and he kills District 5 guy.
So she says, right, and he says, duck, and his trident goes whizzing over my head, and there's a sickening sound of impact as it finds its target. The man from District 5, the drunk who threw up on the sword fighting floor, sinks to his knees as Finnick frees the trident from his chest.
Very sad.
And he says, don't trust 1 and 2.
I wouldn't.
Each take one side, and so they...
Yeah, she shoots at Anabaria, right?
About 4 spokes apart, Anabaria and Gloss are just reaching land. Either they're slow swimmers or they thought the water might be laced with other dangers, which it might well be.
And so there's only weapons. There's no food they can find and no water. And she shoots at Anabaria and...
No, it was actually probably smart of them to hesitate for a second just in case.
Just in case...
There was like monsters in the water.
It could be sharks. Anabaria knows all about that.
Yeah. So...
Oh, and he fires at Brutus. And she fucks up Brutus's inflation thing. Because Brutus is a fucking idiot.
She shoots at Anabaria, who's gotten too close for comfort, but she's expecting it and dives back into the water before it can find its mark. Gloss isn't quite as swift, and I sink an arrow into his calf as he plunges into the waves. I sling an extra bow and a second sheath of arrows over my body.
Good.
Slide 2 long knives and an awl into my belt and meet up with Finnick at the front of the pile. Do something about that, would you? And she sees Brutus barreling towards them. His belt is undone, and he has it stretched between his hands as a kind of shield. I mean, that's not the worst idea.
No, it's a big belt. It's not a bad idea.
I shoot at him, and he manages to block the arrow with his belt before it can skewer his liver. Where it punctures the belt, a purple liquid spews forth, coating his face. As I reload, Brutus flattens on the ground, rolls a few feet to the water, and submerges. There's a clang of metal falling behind me. So they decide to clear out, because Anabaria and Gloss reach the cornucopia. Brutus and Kashmir are also nearby. These 4 classic careers will no doubt have a prior alliance. If I had my own safety to consider, I might be willing to take them on with Finnick by my side. But it's Peeta I'm thinking about. I spot him now, still stranded on his metal plate. He can't swim. I take off and Finnick follows without question, as if knowing this will be my next move. When I'm as close as I can get, I start removing knives from my belt, preparing to swim out to reach him and somehow
Finnick,
bring him in.
To his credit, actually goes and gets him.
She goes,
and then he goes and gets fucking Mags. So, like, look, fuck this guy, but also, god damn it.
Yeah, because he says, better not exert yourself. Not in your condition.
He keeps covering for that. I don't know if he knows it's bullshit or not. It seems like he might know it's bullshit, but, like, he's doing a good fucking job here.
Yeah, so then he goes and gets Mags as well. And she's, like, decent at swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically...
Oh, no,
she
swims her way there.
Yeah, she, like, basically paddles.
I like that Finnick goes, well, I can't leave... Hold on, what's my Finnick voice? He goes, well, I can't leave Mags behind. She's one of the few people who actually likes me.
Yeah, for real. And she says, I've got no problem with Mags, especially now that I see the arena. Her fishhooks are probably our best chance of getting a meal. And Peeta says Katniss wanted her on the first day. Katniss has remarkably good judgment. That's what Finnick says.
Slimy bastard, but who is helping? God damn it! Suzanne Collins won't even let me hate people.
And Mags is the first one that points out that the belt is
she's smart as
device.
shit, man. She's smart as fuck.
Well, it'd be kind of dull as shit if like all of the, if a bunch of the tributes drowned right away.
I don't know, like they start throwing nuts at the force field in a while. She just starts fucking eating them. Like, they might be poisonous. She's like, I don't give a shit. We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, she's like, what? What? I'm 80 years old.
And I'm in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm not putting a lot of stock in myself.
So BT also figures out that they're flotation devices, and he's kind of like thrashing through the waves.
God bless this nerd.
Oh, yeah.
I love him.
What a beautiful nerd. He's like, I do theater. I build sets. PJ's definitely the set builder.
For sure. So they get to the beach, and Finnick puts Mags on his shoulders.
She almost asked Finnick to wait for Wyrus and BT, but
yeah, that's half the fucking field at that point.
But that's a lot of waiting in the cornucopia, which is usually the bloodbath area. So they decide to go into the jungle, which is a word that she is not really familiar with, but had heard from a different Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And the trees are all different, and it's really humid. The thin blue fabric of my jumpsuit lets the seawater evaporate easily, but it's already begun to cling to me with sweat.
And yeah, they head into the jungle, and then they look at the fucking bloody water around the cornucopia.
Yeah, bodies lie on the ground and float in the sea.
Horrible.
But at this distance, with everyone dressed exactly the same, I can't tell who lives or dies. Oh, but she can see that people are still fighting. And she thinks, well, what did I think? That the victor's chain of locked hands last night would result in some sort of universal truce in the arena?
Yeah, well, you know.
No, I never believed that. But I guess I had hoped people might show some, restraint, reluctance at least, before they jumped right into massacre mode. And you all knew each other, I think. You acted like friends. They are friends. It's just
they are, you know. It's
I have only one real friend in here, and he isn't from District 4. And she thinks about killing him.
And I went, yes, do it. And I know he's a victim.
She said, there's really no future in this alliance, and he's too dangerous to let go. Now, when we have his tentative trust, maybe my only chance to kill him. I could easily shoot him in the back as we walk. It's despicable, of course. But will it be any more despicable if I wait? Know him better? Owe him more? No, this is the time. I take one last look at the battling figures, the bloody ground, to harden my resolve, and then slide to the ground. But when I land, I find Finnick's kept pace with my thoughts, as if he knows what I've seen and how it will have affected me. He has one of his tridents raised in casually defensive position. What's going on down there, Katniss? Have they all joined hands? Taken a vow of nonviolence? Tossed the weapons in the sea in defiance of the capital?
Yeah, whatever.
No. Because whatever happened in the past is in the past. And no one in this arena is a victor by chance. Except maybe Peeta. That's funny as shit.
Yeah.
Finnick knows then what Haymitch and I know about Peeta, being truly deep down better than the rest of us. Finnick took out that tribute from 5 without blinking an eye. And how long did I take to turn deadly? I shot to kill when I targeted Enobaria and Gloss and Brutus.
Well, yeah.
Peeta would have at least attempted negotiations first.
Yeah.
Seeing if some wider alliance was possible. But to what end? Finnick's right. I'm right. The people in this arena weren't crowned for their compassion. I hold his gaze, weighing his speed against my own. The time it will take to send an arrow through his brain versus the time his trident will reach my body.
Oh, and then Peeta, I love this. He just walks up, stands directly in between them, and is like, how many people you think died over there?
And she thinks, move, you idiots. Nice. She says, hard to say. At least 6, I think, and they're still fighting. So then they're like, let's go find water.
And they get a fucking move on. And luckily, we have Chekhov's force field from earlier. Because she goes, and then Peeta fucking dies.
Yeah, she says, my eyes catch on a funny, rippling square hanging like a warped pane of glass in the air. At first, I think it's the glare from the sun or the heat shimmering up off the ground.
How did nobody else notice this?
Not shifting when I move. It's very subtle. Yeah. And that's when I connect the square with Wyrus and BT in the training center and realize what lies before us. My warning cry is just reaching my lips when Peeta's knife swings out to slash away some vines.
Zap.
There's a sharp zapping sound. For an instant, the trees are gone, and I see an open space over a short stretch of bare earth. Then Peeta's flung back from the force field, bringing Finnick and Mags to the ground. I rush over to where he lies, motionless in a web of vines, and Mags is like, the fuck?
God
These aren't my real hips. I rush over to where Peeta lies, motionless in a web of vines.
I love Mags.
Peeta? There's a small faint smell of singed hair. I call his name again, giving a little shake, but he's unresponsive. My fingers fumble across his lips, where there's no warm breath although moments ago he was panting. I press my ear to his chest, the spot where I always rest my head, where I know I will hear the strong and steady beat of his heart. Instead, I find silence.
He'll be fine. Just shake it off.
Chapter 20, guys. Do you have notes?
I do. Let's keep this all caps panic party going. Katniss honestly just Google CPR.
Hey, she's like, hey, Google.
GG, Finnick. I still fucking hate you, though. Katniss, quick, shoot him!
Oh my god, could you imagine?
Mag's the fucking legend over here. If I die, I die. LMAO, YOLO. Is it a tap? Do they have to tap the trees? Nailed it. Play the success sound.
Yeah.
Also, I realized you and I hear that differently because you hear the secondary melody and I hear the primary melody because I hear da 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 da.
Wait, what?
And you hear da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both right because we got into an argument about this.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We get
a
into
lighthearted
an
argument
about the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
In the best way. So Katniss starts screaming.
Yeah, well,
which is a great idea in the Hunger Games.
Peeta died, so yeah, whatever. He'll be fine though. Just shake it off.
Yeah, and
do like Taylor does.
Finnick props Mags against a tree and pushes Katniss out of the way. And Katniss thinks that he's trying to kill Peeta and like starts hurling herself at him, which Katniss is always so helpful when someone looks like they're dying. She really just makes a big scene. And I'm like, what are you going to do?
She's panicking. I get it. It's fair.
I know, but I'm like, I think the guy from the water district knows how to do CPR. What do you think?
I bet.
I'm just going to make a quick guess. So he starts palpating Peeta's heart. Oh, because she's
no, he doesn't palpate.
This is funny. I'm stopped by the sight of Finnick kissing Peeta.
That was funny.
And it's so bizarre, even for Finnick, that I stay my hand because she was going to like shoot an arrow at him.
Yeah, good thing she didn't.
And she goes, no, he's not kissing him. He's got Peeta's nose blocked off, but his mouth tilted open and he's blowing air into his lungs. I can see this. I can actually see Peeta's chest rising and falling. Then, Katniss, you dunce, your mother is a healer and you don't know CPR?
It doesn't.
Lovingly.
It doesn't usually really work very well. I'm not saying don't do it.
If you're at CPR levels, but that's not good.
No. It either works
it's hard
or
to come back
doesn't,
from.
and it can take a long fucking time.
Yeah?
Yeah. My mom had to do CPR on someone in her office once.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought she's had to do CPR
a few times,
once.
yes.
Yeah, because she had to do it at the theater one time.
I think.
Didn't she?
Maybe.
Wasn't there somebody who was like, is there a doctor? And she was like,
I don't remember, but I know she had to do it at least once in her office because of. Yeah, well.
I remember there was one instance where they were like, is there a doctor? And like seven
different people popped up, yeah.
And she was like, okay, great.
Yeah.
This is the luckiest person in the world.
Yep. Well, they were at like the symphony, so, you know.
A lot of doctors there.
A lot of doctors going to go to the symphony.
Of old as fuck people.
That too. Both.
My favorite thing,
Also
one of my
us.
favorite things to do at the symphony is like look around and see if anybody's asleep.
There's always somebody asleep.
There's always somebody, and I have to find them.
Mm-hmm.
I have to find them, and I have to smile.
I like to look for the people who are under 30 because I'm like, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So he does CPR.
So eventually Peeta's eyes kind of flutter open.
And he is blasé about the whole thing.
She goes, Peeta? And she's like brushing the strands of hair from his forehead. And he goes, careful. There's a force field up ahead.
Yeah.
Peeta's funny as shit.
He is. He would, he brushes this off shockingly well because he's definitely covering for the fact that he feels like absolute shit right now.
I feel like if your heart stops and you come back,
good.
you feel like absolute
You don't
ass.
feel good.
I'm just
and
assuming.
Also, shout out to Finnick for actually doing this. This is a hard thing for me to look past in my fuck this guy Olympics.
Yeah, and Katniss is crying, and Finnick says, it's okay. It's just her hormones.
He's really good at this.
From the baby.
God damn it!
Yeah.
I feel like my first time reactions for books is just me screaming God damn it a lot.
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry.
Never mind.
Your experience with this book is just screaming
my
God
first
damn it.
time reader reactions seems to just be me yelling God damn it and throwing cans.
I like it.
All right, great.
I think everyone does. More histrionics, please.
I can do that. So
as many histrionics as possible.
She's like, oh, I knew there was a force field because I heard it. Come to think of it, that ear, what the doctors had operated on, I can hear more things than I could before. I can hear ghosts.
Ghosts?
No, but she's like, she does this clever thing.
I can hear
where
like
she's
snow
like,
falling outside.
I can hear a lot better out of that ear. And she's like, take that, you fucking capital assholes. Get investigated.
Yep. She's like, I'm just going to fuck over the doctors that tried to give a breast implants to a 16-year-old. So I'm on her side there. They should be fucking investigated. But they're not going to be investigated for the things I think they should be investigated for. Straight to jail.
He's got a Mockingjay on... Finnick has a Mockingjay on his token. I think they rest for a little bit, and then they start...
Oh, no. Peeta's wearing a Mockingjay.
Oh, Peeta is. Of course he has, yeah.
And...
He doesn't even know.
What? And
does he know?
She's a little mad
because
sorry. She's a little secret mad because she's like, this is just going to make keeping Peeta alive harder.
Trying to keep you from fucking dying.
Well, how do you think Haymitch fucking feels?
Yeah.
And Finnick asks if they want to camp there, and they decide that's not a good idea. And Finnick is playing up the pregnancy thing because if Katniss looks hysterical, it's not going to look good for sponsors. Granted, like, why would she not be hysterical? But whatever. Plus, she just saw Cinna get beaten to a fucking pulp. Yeah, and so they have Katniss take the lead so that she can hear the force field, but really it's that she knows what to look for.
And she starts throwing nuts at the thing.
Yep. And
just
then
like to keep, and Mag's just like, oh, them. Fuck, yeah, baby.
She's like, it could be poisonous. And Mag's is like,
roasted nuts. I don't give a shit. I'm hungry.
Who gives a shit? They're chestnuts roasted on an open fire, baby.
Open force field. I love Mags.
Christmas.
After a few minutes...
Mag's like, if I must be the ghost of Christmas past, then fuck it.
After a few minutes, I become aware of a smacking sound behind me and turn to see Mags peeling the shell off one of the nuts and popping it in her already full mouth. Mags! I cry. Spit that out, it could be poisonous. She mumbles something and ignores me, licking her lips with apparent relish. I look to Finnick for help, but he just laughs. I guess we'll find out, he says.
You love to read.
I do, it's fun.
So she's like curious about Finnick, who saved old Mags but will let her eat strange nuts. Well, she's fucking old. Like,
she doesn't care.
She's looking out for herself.
She doesn't care. She's like, either I will be full or I will die.
And she's also like, why would Finnick bring Peeta back from the dead?
And she's in this particular spot where she's like, you know what? I came in here to save a girl's life. I did that. Maybe I can save another one. If not, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very noble sacrifice she has made.
Yeah.
Very sad.
And they start looking for water. They're like, the foliage is really thick, so there's got to be some kind of water somewhere.
It's in the plants. It's in the plants. It's in the plants.
And they start to make camp because Mags is tired and Peeta is injured.
And she keeps playing up like she's pregnant because she's actually pretty good at this. She finds this weird fucking rat thing. So she goes off
by herself. Yeah, she kills a rat thing.
That's suckling on a tree.
Oh, yeah. So she's also rubbing her hand across her belly, hoping some sympathetic pregnant woman will become her sponsor and Haymitch can send in some water. But there's no luck. But yeah, she kills this rodent thing and its muzzle is wet. But when she comes back, Mags and Finnick have turned this place into a fucking paradise.
Holy shit with this. They make a hut out of grass. It's wild.
Yeah. And the rat thing has a wet muzzle, so she's like, it's gotta have been drinking something.
And they cook the rat by throwing it at the force field. This is so funny. They keep throwing bits of rat meat at the force field and going like, yeah, all right, it's medium rare. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and they give him a round of applause. So Katniss starts to eat. And it is chestnut.
It is chestnut?
It's literally chestnut roasted on an open fire.
It reminds her of a chestnut.
I mean, it's pretty much a chestnut.
All right, we'll call it a chestnut.
I'm deciding it's a chestnut. So, they're starting to, they think a lot about this rat and how the fuck did it have a wet muzzle.
And in parachutes a little thing. Oh, first though, we get to see the deaths.
First we get to see who's dead. So it's the man from District 5.
Very sad.
Finnick took out with his trident is the first to appear.
Very sad.
That means that all of the tributes in 1 through 4 are alive. The 4 careers, BT and Wyrus, and of course Mags and Finnick. The man from District 5 is followed by the male morphling from 6, Cecilia and Wolf from 8, both from 9, the woman from 10, and Cedar from 11.
No, we liked her.
The capital seal is back with a final bit of music, and then the sky goes dark except for the moon. Poor Cecilia's kids.
Fucking devastating,
She didn't make it past day 1. Yeah, she thinks of the 3 kids hanging on to Cecilia when they took her away, and Cedar's kindness to me at our meeting.
Once again, Suzanne Collins goes, I'm going to hit you right here.
Even the thought of the glazed-eyed morphling painting my cheeks with yellow flowers gives me a pang. All dead, all gone.
It's devastating.
Oh, and yeah, so the parachute comes. They're not sure whose it is, but they let Peeta claim it since he died today.
You know what? Take it, man.
And it's some kind of weird thing. They're not sure what it is. And she asks, can you fish with it, Mags? Which must sound really stupid to the people who know what it is. They definitely played that with some clown music. Am I right?
No, they did.
And Haymitch is sitting there like, fucking fuck.
It's a spile. You've seen these before. You live in Appalachia. There are maple trees. Are there? I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
we were.
And she thinks about how, what? Sorry.
We were flying to Washington, D.C. recently, and I was looking at the little plane map, and we started passing over the Appalachian Mountains, and I was like, uh-oh.
Don't crash here.
And then all of a sudden, do you remember this? The plane just like dropped 6 feet.
I do remember this.
That
was when we were flying over Appalachia.
We were directly over Appalachia, and I was like, no.
The plane was like, shall we play some Yellow Jackets realness?
Absolutely not. It was like, enough of it. You're a very seasoned flyer, Allie is, and she took off her headphones and was like,
Yeah, I didn't like that.
No.
But we're in Jello.
Yeah. Someone online, which really helped me get even more comfortable with flying, they said, when you are in turbulence, do not think of it as, like a leaf, because it's not really like a leaf getting blown around. It's more like, imagine that the plane, because you're totally surrounded by the fluid that is air. So rather than imagining that the air is just kind of willy-nilly blowing all over the place, imagine that you are in a big cube of Jell-O. And the turbulence is somebody slapping the cube of Jell-O. Because you're suspended in the air, in the fluid, like you're suspended in Jell-O. So turbulence is not like a random gust coming out of nowhere to try to blow the plane off of a path. It's not on a path. It's suspended in a fluid. And that fluid is air, and it is Jell-O. So if you slap the Jell-O, all the Jell-O moves, and the plane moves in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me.
But it's not going to, fall out of the sky.
It doesn't usually.
No.
And that helped me get very comfortable with turbulence on planes.
Mm-hmm. So
anyway,
they're,
they get the spile,
thinking about the spile, and they don't know what the spile is, and she thinks about her family, and she's worried about them being punished like Cinna or Darius. And
then she reflects, and it comes to her what the thing is.
And it's a spile.
A spile. And they're like, the fuck is this? And I love it. Finnick is like, let me hammer it into the tree. And she's like, no, we only have one.
Now I'm going to be real. Everyone jokes that this scene where they're all drinking water from the spile is the unintentionally horniest scene in the movies.
Oh, okay. Was it hornier than Joanna Mason just getting naked in the elevator?
Unintentionally horny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they don't mean it to be, but the cast is very attractive, and they're greedily guzzling from a tree.
Okay.
They're just they know what they're doing.
All right. Well,
people are thirsty for the thirsty scene,
That's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. So they put it in, and they get water.
And they all have a quick sip.
And then they hear the tolling of a bell. Bong, bong. Do you remember when, by the way, speaking of bong, do you remember when I was like, oh, you know what would be such cute grandparent names? Like
Bing
and
Bong.
Bong. I could be Bing and you could be
yeah,
Bong.
Yeah, I want to water and call me fucking Bong. Yeah, so this dinging, this tolling in the middle of the night, that's weird.
Yeah.
Is it just
and Finnick counts 12.
That's really strange.
Yeah.
And I mean, is it there are going to be 12 trials, and this is the first one, and it'll count down, and they'll get progressively worse, maybe?
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah, that
each night something fucked up will happen.
Something fucked up every night.
Yeah.
It's like a countdown.
Yeah, because it usually lasts a couple weeks, right?
To what, them exploding the arena or something?
No, they'll just drop a fucking asteroid on the arena and kill everybody who's left. If there's not a victor, they'll kill them all.
There's no victor?
If there is not a victor by day 12, then it's just you all die.
Wow.
I don't know.
That'd be fucked up.
Because it would be in line with the premise of because that also rules out the ability for them to go do the berries again.
That is true.
Right? Because it's the whole premise of Snow's the ostensible premise here is even the strongest among you are not safe.
Yeah.
So if even the strongest among you are not safe, yeah, okay.
No victor.
No victor.
Wow.
Right? It's a stupid thing. It's all despair.
Wipe out 24 victors.
I mean, he would do that to get rid of Katniss.
Totally.
He is spiteful enough.
So you think it's Katniss and Peeta at the end?
No, I don't think the games get to the end, but I think that it is possible that is what is going on here. Is that it's a tolling that will count down to and then the Earth just opens up. the force field shrinks and they all die.
Wow, that would be fucked up.
Yeah.
What do you think about the force field? Why is there a force field? Or do you think it's just a force field that exists and Peeta just walked into it?
Well, it's a dome. It is possible the dome is shrinking. It is also possible the dome is moving or growing.
That'd be pretty fucked up. Like, the force field, like, changes.
Yeah, I think it's possible.
That's mean.
Yeah, of
they
course
can't
it's mean.
see it.
Well, that's
what they supposed to do? Throw nets everywhere they go?
Maybe it grow. I don't know. Maybe
no, that'd be fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's not out of the question.
It couldn't shrink because then it would destroy the. Well, she said she saw the force field and it was like a few feet of open land. So maybe it's very slowly contracting.
Maybe.
Force him back to the cornucopia.
So she has Finnick go to sleep because it's her turn to watch. And he kind of hesitates, but decides to go to sleep. And then there's the sound of a cannon.
Yes.
So there's another Victor dead, but they don't know who it is. The elusive rain shuts off suddenly, like the storm did last year.
Oh, yeah,
in the
there's
arena.
rain for the people who didn't understand how to, yeah.
Moments after this, I see the fog sliding softly.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's the recent downpour.
Poison fog over here is not what you want.
Just a reaction. Cool rain on the steaming ground, I think. It continues to approach at a steady pace. Tendrils reach forward and then curl like fingers, as if they are pulling the rest behind them. As I watch, I feel the hairs on my neck begin to rise. Something's wrong with this fog. The progression of the front line is too uniform to be natural. And if it's not natural, a sickeningly sweet odor begins to invade my nostrils, and I reach for the others, shouting for them to wake up. In the few seconds it takes to rouse them, I begin to blister.
Not good, man. Not good.
And that is the end of chapter 20, where we left off.
Oh, okay. How much do I get to read?
Let me see.
Can I finish the book? I'm sure that I can't. God damn it.
Yeah, you can do 21.
Go good.
Of course.
How many chapters are there in the book?
Not many left, I don't think. 27. Okay, so there's 7 chapters left.
Okay.
Or 6. Because you read 20. So
it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 left.
7 left.
You said you had wanted me to read all but the last 2, then record, then do the last 2. Right? In like a big episode.
You can read to the end of 25.
Oh, man. That's going to be rough, isn't it?
And the last 2 chapters will be our finale episode.
You think there's enough in the last 2 chapters for a finale?
Either that or we do a 7-chapter episode.
No, okay.
That seems like a lot. And I also think I want your predictions for how these last 2 chapters will go.
All right. So I get 5 chapters?
Hold on.
Because what we did last book is I read like the last 4, and then I wrote everything down and read the last 3. And we did a 2-part finale.
Yeah. I think what I'm going to do... Yeah, I'm going to have you read until the end of 25.
Okay.
Yeah. Because then we'll get your predictions for the last 2 chapters.
All right.
Cool.
I'm going to want to finish it.
I know.
But all right.
I'm a meanie.
All right, fine.
If it's really, really bad, what I'll do is we can record the episode and then you can read the chapters right after that. I just want your predictions for the last 2 chapters.
Oh, no. I understand. I understand.
Thank you so much, everyone. This has been Wheel Takes Podcast. If you want to keep in touch with us or hear more from us, you can look at our social media links, which are below. You can also donate to our Patreon if you would like to get involved that way. We also have a merch store, and you can also leave us a rating review. That really helps us out and spreads the word about our podcast. Anything else, Gus?
It's always the fucking fog in these books.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.